Alright, so this video is definitely way too overdue, but I figured I'd just share it and educate those who are interested in buying their first electric skateboard so that they won't make the first mistake that I did. So let's talk about Meepo then. They are basically at the top of marketing when it comes to electric skateboards, which is an issue because they're definitely not at the top of customer service or quality. And let's just throw the third one in there and say safety. And I've experienced all those things. So I'm just going to give you a rundown of my experience with Meepo and then tell you about some others I've heard. So when I first got into e-skating, it was probably around the beginning of 2022. It is because I had just got hired for my second job. I was just working two jobs at that time, so I needed something to get me a little bit further. That's my second job was just a little bit further down the street. Definitely a walkable distance, but I wanted like a cheap form of transportation that could just get me to both my jobs easily. And it did. But for how long exactly? Well, it was only 2 weeks before the ESC in that electric skateboard went out. If you're wondering what that is, that's the electrical component that powers to your battery and connects your battery to your wheels. So that component went out, rendering my board useless after only 2 weeks of riding. And what caused it exactly? It wasn't water, it wasn't abuse, it wasn't damages, but it was me going over the sidewalk bumps, right? So a skateboard can't handle going over sidewalk bumps. And this was something that cost $499 at the time. So $500 electric skateboard goes out within 2 weeks. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're working with electronics in general, they are going to have defects. So it wasn't the defect that made me say, okay, this brand is just completely terrible. But the customer service afterwards was basically non-existent. Now, first of all, just getting them to respond to an email in the first place was a challenge because you have to keep sending them. So then I'm looking up, like, how do I get these guys to respond? My ESC just went out and I need to get to work, so I don't just have to walk there, you know? I'm already working two jobs, so I just have to walk there. So again, I'm looking up how to get to them. This person's saying they're sending this many emails to get to them, so I'm getting to them. They asked for a video of me to do a diagnosis and see if it's the ESC. So I do that, I do their video, I send them my video of my board and what's wrong with it. So they say, I'm going to send you a part. I never got sent that part. I emailed them after they said that over and over and over. Week went by, never got the part. I can't waste my time because I need something to get around, so I just bought the part, right? I just bought the part. Now, later down the line, I believe I did have to buy one more ESC, if that's what I had to buy. I believe I had to buy one more ESC, and who knows for what that reason was. But I stopped riding it after 5, 6 months, anyways, because I got my first EcoMobile ET, which has been a pretty decent experience with some of the downfalls that I can get into. But for the most part, this is about Meepo. So, safety when it comes to their boards. Their boards are fucking unsafe, and I've seen another guy on YouTube, right? He was saying how he got hospitalized because his board went out on him as he was riding it, right? So they market it and they say that it can go up to 29 miles per hour, but it cannot exceed 25 miles per hour safety because once you're using too much power, you can experience a cutoff in either motor at any time, right? And this has happened to me. Now, when I saw this dude, his face was bloodied up. It wasn't this bad for me, but when I was riding home at night and I was just trying to get home quickly, you know, just trying to get in bed or do whatever I else I want to do because I just got out of work, right? Yo, I'm in the street at night, no other cars on the road, thankfully, but this thing, one of the motors just cuts out on me. So as you can imagine, it's like if you're going high speed in a car and one of the wheels isn't accelerating, but the other one is, it's gonna cause an imbalance and you're gonna crash. So that's what happened to me. I crashed. I can show you a picture of the injury I sustained. I couldn't go to work at 6 a.m. the next day because I was fucked up, I was scraped up, and I was sore as fuck. This is a result of Meepo's board, their motor cutting out, and later on the board's motor came back to life. So yeah, the board's motor did come back to life, but it just randomly cut out like that at a speed that they marketed to go, right? So that's not a reliable product. Now, no cords were loose or anything like that. This was just a genuine cutout due to shitty components, and that's what Meepo is. Now, let's talk about their marketing. Their marketing is really good is the thing. This is why when you search for electric skateboards, it's going to be the first thing in your search results because they market and they sponsor their products to be at the top of search results so that people keep buying. But the other thing is that the boards that they're producing are actually really cheap to produce. So they're bringing in a lot of money in comparison to what they're giving out, because pricing the Meepo Mini at $500 when they first came out with it is astounding. Now, let's talk about what else really just makes it clear that this is a scam artist brand that you should not mess with at all. They've changed the name of the Meepo Mini, as some of you may have noticed. And for the ones who want to defend Meepo, they know what I'm talking about. So when I first bought my Meepo Mini 2 in the beginning of 2022, it was called the Meepo Mini 2. Now they're putting different slogans on it, like it's the Meepo Mini, Meepo Mini 3, Meepo Mini 5. It's currently called the Meepo Mini 5, but it's the same exact board, components, and battery that was used 2 years ago. They've changed nothing about the board but the name. And this is because, as you can imagine, if you were to look up Meepo Mini 2, there's already so many reviews out there that's showing and people saying how bad it is. So now they're changing the name of it so that way when you get in your search results, you don't get all the bad reviews that deter you from buying their terribly unsafe electric skateboard, which I'm here to tell you, don't buy their boards without looking deeper into their quality. And I would actually just send an email to them beforehand just to say, hey, how fast does Meepo respond, right? Now, I want to say, first off, like, no electric skateboard company is safe, no matter how much I like it. This is not just me targeting Meepo because I like EcoMobile or anything. I've had shit experiences with EcoMobile, but in the end, even though they've taken a while to send me a part, they still sent the part. Meepo hasn't sent me parts at all, and when I first bought my EcoMobile back in the June of 2022, I bought it for my birthday gift, but it was a good decision because it's a low maintenance board. It has night lights, beautiful LED lights, and from then on, their customer service was great. And it has kind of like stumbled down since like a year later, trying to get a hold of them, and who knows for whatever reason that is, but there's fluctuations, and no electric skateboard brand is perfect, no matter if they're selling boards that $4,000, $3,000. Cali and LaCroix died. Those were two popular high quality electric skateboard brands. So again, none of these brands are safe from being heckled like this, but if there is one that puts you in the most danger while riding it, it's definitely Meepo, without a doubt. It's definitely Meepo. It puts your time in jeopardy. They put your money in jeopardy because you're going to be replacing parts. And thirdly, they put your fucking safety in jeopardy. So this is a brand that I'm surprised how they even are still selling. Like, I'm surprised how, they're not being investigated for their scams, because this is just astounding, some of the things that they pull. And then, I do get Meepo sexuals who want to come out of nowhere telling me like, oh, like, they sent me this part, like, okay, cool, but why do you get sent parts in the first place? They're like, oh yeah, my part just went out within 3 weeks of writing too, but oh well, yeah, your part just went out within 3 weeks because the quality is literally that bad. So again, getting sent part is not something to be, amazed by. This is what we should expect of companies who are supposed to honor their warranty. Now with me, I was in 2 weeks of writing, so the warranty clearly covered mine. But I just went ahead and bought the ESC because they weren't going to send it. The amount of emails that you have to send them to get a reply is like 10 plus, and that doesn't even guarantee a reply. So it's like, I'm not just going to keep bugging these guys. If they're not going to send a part, then they're not going to send a part. But that means they're also not being honoring their warranty, and they're being a dishonest company. So their boards are unsafe. The only thing that their boards do make is good parts. Like your base plate. I've installed the base plate from the Meepo onto my other board. If you need parts, that board's gonna come in handy. But other than the fact that you might need parts here and there, that board is basically good as trash. You should just throw it out, which is what I did with mine. Just rip off the grip tape or whatever, throw it out, make something else, make another DIY board, but do not use Meepo components. Do not buy from Meepo. That's not saying that they haven't improved since then, but with that experience and the experience I've seen from others, they don't deserve respect as a reputable brand whatsoever. And we've seen no explanation from any of their members of why uh, the issues that they're having is going on. So there's no transparency whatsoever. And that's not a good company. That's not good business. And if that's something y'all want to support, y'all want to continue getting paid by Karen to promote his scam products, then y'all can do that. But Again, these Meepo sexuals out here are out of control because I was even in the electric skateboarding group telling another man that had the Meepo Mini to, and you know, for the Meepo sexuals that are watching this, they're gonna know who I am. So then they blocked me in the group. They blocked me in the group because I said, be safe. Meepo isn't safe to ride. So, you know, one of the moderators is someone that works for Meepo. If you say anything bad about Meepo, oh, you're gone. And I'm talking about the forum on Reddit, the electric skateboarding forum on Reddit. They don't allow freedom of speech. So when you talk bad about Meepo, your good is gone. This brand is disgusting, but hey, at the end of the day, their scam artist CEO, the owner, Kieran, he's filling his pockets, and he's filling his pockets. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters: profits over safety, over quality, and over customer profits.